warte darauf, dass du den Start sagst. Okay?
Maybe. Людмила Васильівна, хтось приєднається ще чи ні вже з ваших? Бо з наших наче всі.
Ну, подивимось, Іра Олександровна. Я запросила.
Ну, зрозуміло. Окей.
Якщо що, вони тихесенько. Поняли? Послухай.
Окей. So, then we can start. We can begin, I think.
Good. Okay. In English or in German or mixed?
In German, from the beginning, then auf Deutsch, then in English, the mix will work.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Dankeschön. Today we are finishing the education system and then we go on to the political system of Germany. Heute beenden wir das das pädagogische System, beenden und gehen dann weiter zum politischen System. Okay?
Okay.
Gut. Okay. Tertiärbereich, das ist der 5. Bereich, der höchste Bereich des Bildungssystems. Universitäten, Fachhochschulen, Musikhochschulen, pädagogische Hochschulen, alles das führt zu einem akademischen Abschluss, Bachelor, Master oder Promotion, PhD. In addition, zusätzlich hat dieser höchste Bereich, ist highest part of education system, berufsqualifizierende Studiengänge. That means that these are qualifying studies for the profession. And there are another form, es gibt eine andere Form, Berufsakademien. This is a special form, it's a mixture of so-called dual education, either in university and also in practice. So it's split. So you are 3 days or 2 days in practice, 2 Tage in der Praxis und 3 Tage in der Hochschule. Fragen dazu? Do you have any questions?
No question, because very, very brief information, but there is a remark. We have a dual education here when theoretical training and practical are combined. So it is
combined. This is so-called academy, Berufsakademie, professional academy. This is a mixture between university and practice. So it's a so-called dual education. You're doing both at the same time for 3 or 4 years. Ja?
Ja.
Gut. Okay. Es gibt noch andere Schulen des Gesundheitswesens for the health system, but this is not academic. Das ist nicht akademisch. Da werden also Krankenpfleger, Hebammen, Masseure, Krankenschwestern ausgebildet. So, in der Regel nach dem 18. Lebensjahr, sie machen dann eine Berufsausbildung und können dann auf eine besondere Schule gehen, auf eine Fachschule. Keine Fachhochschule, das ist eine Special School. Das ist also eine Weiterqualifizierung, is a further qualification after you have learned your profession, and then you are receiving a higher qualification. Okay, so this is once more a table where you can see our whole system. We begin from the years 1 to 5 in kindergarten or in Krippe. Then comes for 4 years the primary school, die Grundschule, Primärbereich. Then comes the secondary 1 and 2, which is, I told you, das ist getrennt in Hauptschule, Realschule, Gesamtschule, Gymnasium. So there are different types, es sind verschiedene Arten der Sekundarstufe. Und dann kannst du nach dem Abitur entweder zur Universität, zur Hochschule, wobei Universität ist auch eine Hochschule. Wir haben nur, das ist kein Qualitätsunterschied. It's not a question of quality, it's a question of aim. So, for instance, university is very much stress on research, and the other Hochschule, Fachhochschule, Musikhochschule, Pädagogische Hochschule, they are more focused on applied sciences. Question? This is our system in an overview.
Es gibt viele, there are several, or a lot of common things in our systems of education.
Ja,
So different kinds. The primary school for 4 years, the secondary school of different kinds, for different aims. And besides, there is the reforming system, the reforming process of the system of education in Ukraine and new Ukrainian school. So will be aimed at streaming the children, school children, for different aims, because nowadays, so there are still very common aims.
This is very similar here to this system. Okay, and now I show you some not so nice things. Wir haben zurzeit Probleme mit unserem Bildungswesen. We are facing a lot of problems with our education system. This has something to do, das hat zu tun mit einer Vielzahl von Migranten. You know that we have a lot of refugees, not only from Ukraine. Wir haben ganz viele Menschen aus anderen Ländern und wir haben nicht die genügenden Lehrer. We don't have enough teachers. So you see here a table with the 16 different countries. You remember, wir haben 16 Bundesländer. Und hier sehen wir Fortschritte und Rückschritte. That means advancing and lenders which are decreasing. So you see Hamburg has made a big progress, Schleswig-Holstein, but Mecklenburg-Vorpommern is lower. So you see all there where is a minus, überall wo ein Minus ist, hier, wir haben eine schlechtere Ausstattung von Schulen. Seht ihr? Baden-Württemberg, Rheinland-Pfalz. Hier sind Verbesserungen, 4,6 bessere Ziele. Okay? Das heißt, zwischen dem Jahr 2022 und 2013, so within the last 9 years, there is a difference decreasing or increasing. You see here in the north, there are 3 problems, Bremen, Mecklenburg, Saxony, and Thuringia. These are 4 of the new countries. And here it has been much better within the last years. Könnt ihr das verstehen? Bildungsnotstand. Wisst ihr, was ein Notstand ist? That means education in need. Notstand. That means we have a problem. It's an emergency, state of emergency in Saxony. 2 less teachers, overloaded schools and an old school system. Das Problem ist ja, wir haben 16 Bundesländer. We have 16 different countries. And the responsibility is to the state, to the lenders, to the 16 lenders, not to the state. There are a lot of similarities, but there are differences. And this is a joke. This is a drawing. Hopefully you understand it. The teacher asks, now children, you want, please take your packages for your increasing education. And the children are answering, no, we want that the politicians who are caring about education, that they make their homework. Verstanden?
Yeah.
Ja. Noch einmal. Das ist eine Karikatur. Die fragt die Lehrerin, ihr kommt, you are coming, to get your packages of better education, Aufholpaketchen. Und they answer, nein, no, we want that finally the politicians, dass endlich die Politiker, die sich mit Bildung beschäftigen, who are dealing with education, that they are doing their homework.
Everybody
Yeah.
has to do the homework in their own place.
Yeah. But we are discussing since years a changing of the system, because we have fantastic good system in Finland, for instance. In Sweden is much better. Die schwedische und das finnische Schulsystem sind vor.
And Norwegian is considered to be, in Norway, the school system in Norway is considered to be very effective.
And the one in Finland. So this is the last and I'll show you. What can you see here? What do you see?
Children enjoying
It's
some
mother. It's mother with children. And,
yes, and what we correct. And what does mother do?
she maybe explaining something, and they have fun.
Correct. She is reading. She is reading. It's so important. It is so important. We know this from our research since many years. Wir wissen das aus der Forschung seit vielen Jahren, dass es ganz wichtig ist. It is very important that parents read children's stories. So not only talking, but they're reading books together with them. This is so important. So important. Okay, I stop this. Questions so far before we go to the political system?
You have mentioned old school system. What do you mean by that? Old? Old-fashioned, out of date, regressive?
It has not been renovated. I give you an idea. In English or German?
German and then English.
Gut. Wenn wir über Erziehung sprechen, if we speak about education, what do we mean? Is it that children learn what our ancestors did? Is it that we give freedom to the children to decide themselves? Are teachers facilitators? Are teachers persons who are giving that what that's a history learn them, oder sind die Lehrer nur Anreger? Eine schwierige Frage. Wir haben eine veränderte Welt. Kinder lernen über Medien, Kinder lernen über Internet. Müssen wir ihnen alles vorkauen? Do we have to chew everything for them? So we have to discuss about what is education.
I see.
Yeah, understand?
Understand. So, and here I remember the 21st century skills, thinking, critical thinking, lifelong education, and so on.
These are so important things, and teachers sometimes have not learned the new techniques or the new thinking.
So not the school system is old, but the teachers are old-minded, I should say.
Some of them, yeah. Genau. Do you understand what we are discussing? Versteht ihr, was wir gerade besprechen auf Deutsch? Victoria. Ist das verstanden? Verstehst du das?
Ви нас розумієте? Victoria.
No.
Nicht. Do you have a question in English?
Ira, will you help us, please?
Yeah.
Okay, Professor Wolf, I have a question.
Yeah.
A few years, there was a child, Nuta, I don't remember her name, but you can understand, the child who protects environment, protects right for children to get clear nature. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't remember her name, unfortunately. I
She's
apologize.
Swedish. She's Swedish, I think. Yeah.
Maybe yes. I
Yeah.
have a question.
Yeah.
And
Is
she's
it
an adult now, by the way. She has grown up.
Yes,
Yeah.
she is a pretty girl. Well, my
Okay.
question is it okay to involve children into politician sphere to discuss, to learn it?
Yes, I think so. Because, if we are speaking about politics and we do not agree with lots of decisions which politicians make, the next generation has to develop the ability to discuss, to think as early as possible, of course. And they have their own ideas, which of course we do not have to follow point by point, but we have to give them the possibility to think politically. I think this is very important. You, as students, you are the next leading generation of your country. If you want to change something, you have to discuss and you have to bring the next generation also to critically discuss. Do you like my answer or not?
I do not, frankly speaking, I do not agree, because that Greta Thunberg, so was, it seems to me, the toy in the hands of politicians and her parents. It was not her sincere attitude, it seems to me. But still, the questions maybe were rather burning.
But she is, let's say, she is like a pole in the whole area, and she is encouraging young generation to think. That's the main point. You have asked not about one person. I think we have to encourage young generation to be interested in that, what social life, what political life, what family life is about. And that is the thing, encourage people to think and to discuss.
Here I agree, but
Good.
not when it comes to political things, political level.
Yeah.
So it is the educational and life level.
What politics is a Greek word. It
I
has
know.
something to, yes, it has something to do with the people. We are, if you complain about being ruled by some people whom you do not like, how do you want to change? You have to engage in politics. You have to become member of a party, for instance, whatever, a democratic party. Because if, yeah,
I can agree to some extent.
good, okay. More questions before we continue. More questions.
Any other questions? No questions.
Good. So you can decide now. Shall we start with the German political actual system, or shall we start with German history? What do you want?
I would like history.
And you
Don't
would like
take a
history,
seat
but
after me.
you are not the other one. What about the students? The students, what do the students want?
Students,
Yes, it's not democracy.
студенти, вибираємо. Голосуємо за історію чи за політичну систему.
Maybe political system, because history we have already learned. Oh, Katya wants history.
Political history.
Political history.
Okay, well, then we make next time, or perhaps later on. Let's go to the political system. Yeah?
Wolf,
Yeah, political
the
system.
students made me remember my course was when I was a student, the history of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union.
Okay, I'm not a communist. Okay, let's start. Do it
But
slowly.
the
Okay.
history of the political party, I mean, political system.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I speak about our system, not about the party. Okay. Good. So this is the Germany political system. Our flag, unsere Flagge ist schwarz, rot, gold.
Yes. Gold or gelb?
Sie weht vor dem Gebäude in Berlin. Das ist ein kleiner Start mit einem kleinen Video, damit ihr die Fahnenfarben richtig seht. Okay. Tut's nicht. Okay. Stop. So. Das politische System, noch einmal zur Erinnerung. Wir haben 16 Bundesländer. We have 16 different countries which are rather independent and which are responsible for a lot of things which I will tell. First, I tell you what is common for the whole state. Organe. Organe, these are the main parts of the state, for instance, parliament and so on, and government. This is a picture where you can see we have a president. The president is not so important like the chancellor. He is representing our country. He is a person who is elected for 5 years and who is representing our society. Then we have the government, die Bundesregierung, and the head of the Bundesregierung is the chancellor. Now it's Mr. Scholz, before it was Frau Merkel. So the government, he is the chancellor, and he is the person to decide about ministers, Minister of Education, Minister of Defense, Minister of Economy, Minister of Family, and so on and so on and so on. These are the highest part, the highest organs of our political system. Then we have the Bundestag. That means these are all people who are elected in the parliament. This is the German parliament. It's called Bundestag. And beside this, it's Bundesrat. It sounds complicated. This is the representation of the 16 different countries. So the Bundestag, they represent the deputies. They are also elected by the people, and the Bundesrat is representing the 16 different countries. And these 16 countries have governments, 16 governments. We see the Bundesregierung, and this is the government of the 16 countries. And the 16 countries have, of course, also parliament, Landtag. Land means land, Länder. Bund means this is our federal republic. And everybody who was 18 years old can vote. So, to give you the colors, these are the legislative, that means these are giving the laws. These are the executive, that means they are doing if the laws have been decided, wenn die Gesetze bestimmt worden sind, dann führen sie aus. Und das ist die Judikative, this is the highest, these are the courts, the justice courts. And we have this here, den Bundesrat, once more the representation of the Länder, the parliament, and this is a very important, ein Bundesverfassungsgericht. That is the highest court in Germany, which is completely independent. This is once more legislative. They are making the laws. Executive, they are what are they doing? Sie führen die Gesetze aus. Genau. This is the president. Länder, the Länders. This is the highest court. Bundesverfassungsgericht, Justiz. Okay. Once more, a little bit easier perhaps. Staatsorgane. The president is elected for 5 years from 662 Länders and 662 from parliaments. This is the government. Highest person is the Bundeskanzler, and he is announcing the ministries, and this is the Bundestag. That means this is the parliament. We have currently too many in them. Every 4 years, people are electing the parliament. And this here on the other side is the representation of the Länder. So we have in 2 chambers, a so-called Bundestag, a parliament, and we have a second small parliament which represents the 16 Länders. Fragen?
So what is the total number? 662 plus 68?
They are no. This is the no. This is the 66. This is the parliament which decides about all laws, and this is the representative 68, which are of course discussing the laws who are coming out of the parliament, and then they see if they want to adapt these laws to the 16 countries. Okay.
Additional parliament.
Yeah.
I see.
So the political life in Germany is more than government, than parliament and parties, because we are very much engaged in democracy. A lot of people are democratically involved at the basis and in the cities and in the villages. In the Länders, in the 16 Länders, the deputies, they are discussing the right policy of education. Once more, education is a question of the Länders, not of the state Bundesrepublik. They are discussing in the Länders about questions of environment and about police. Das heißt, die Polizei ist eine Sache der 16 Länder. Im Bund, that means in the parliament, not only the 600 deputies, but also a lot of co-mates in parliament and ministries. But important is, democracy does not only live, die Demokratie lebt nicht nur im Parlament, sondern von allen Bürgern und Bürgern. Denn wir entscheiden in den Wahlen, wer uns regiert, immer alle 4 Jahre. Fragen, das heißt, viele Bürger engagieren sich, they engage themselves in a social and political engagement, and they are discussing the subjects in the cities, in the villages, in the local parliaments, and this is still a very vivid democratic life. So, Parliament. The Parliament, der Bundestag oder das Länderparlament, dort werden die Themen und diskutiert, die wichtig sind, und die Gesetze erarbeitet. So these subjects are discussed and the laws are developed. The citizens are represented by deputies whom they are electing every 4 years. The Bundesrat, this is the second so-called the representation, has a special task. He is the second chamber on the level of our country. So this is our parliament in Berlin. This is the Bundestag. Here is normally the government. This is the president, and these are the parties sitting here. This is in Berlin, der Bundestag, das Reichstagsgebäude. Und der Bundestag, the parliament, is the first chamber of the Bundesrepublik Deutschland, which has its seats in Berlin. And these deputies are directly elected by the people every 4 years. We have a so-called basic law, which is binding for everybody. It's about freedom of religion, freedom of what you can think and write, freedom of press and all these things. This is so, so important. The deputies are, as I told you, elected for 4 years, and the whole country is divided into districts where you can vote. You have 2 votes in regularly. The first vote is given to the local deputy, or the local person who wants to go to parliament. Und die zweite Stimme ist für eine Partei. Das ist etwas kompliziert. Ich gehe da mal weg. Also jeder Bürger hat 2 Stimmen. Each citizen has 2 votes. 1 vote is for the person itself, wenn ich haben möchte als Abgeordneten. Die zweite Stimme entscheidet über eine Partei. Es gibt eine Parteiliste. Und die Sitze im Parlament wird geteilt. Diejenigen, die direkt gewählt sind mit der ersten Stimme, directly elected. And the second part of the number of the deputies are according to the second vote for the party. We have, this is very important, a cycled 5% hurdle. That means a party who wants to enter the parliament has to become at least 5%. Those who do not reach, alle, die nicht die 5% erreichen, dürfen nicht ins Parlament, damit wir nicht zu viele Parteien haben. Okay? Mindestens 5%. The biggest party in parliament has the right to elect the president of the parliament. The president of the parliament is representing, and he is the leader of the courses and all the sessions in the parliament. So this is our current how the parliament in Berlin is represented by the parties. You see, the CDU, we would say this is the not right, but the middle. It has 245 seats. They are here. The SPD, Social Democratic Party. CDU means Christian Democratic Party, and it's divided in Christian Social Union. Is from Bavaria. The SPD, currently running together with the coalition, Social Democratic Party of Germany. This is a right-wing party which we do not like so much, AfD, Alternative for Germany. They have
the Russian-supported party.
Pardon?
Russian-supported party.
Yeah, that's it. They are Russian. They are supporting Russia. You're absolutely right. We do not like them. These are the federals, Federal Democratic, German Democratic. The left is a left-wing party, which is a developed one from the former GDR party, but now they have very changed. They are very social one. And these are the Greens. Britain is known as the Greens. So we have currently a coalition existing of 3 parties, of the Social Democratic Party, of the Federal Democratic, and of the Greens. These 3, SPD, FDP, and Greens, they are forming currently for 4 years the government. Okay? And the opposition is CDU and, of course, AfD, but they have not the things in common, and the left. Question?
So,
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it possible to vote by post in Germany?
to vote by post, not directly.
Yeah, of course. Yes, of course, you can. You can either go to when the day of the election is, when die Wahl ist, kannst du in ein Wahlbüro gehen, you go to an office, or you send by mail in an envelope. Of course, it's a lot of people. Some millions use this. Ja, du kannst per Post wählen. Ja, problemlos, no problem at all.
Thank you.
Bitte. Weitere Fragen?
The last elections in Turkey were very active. About 90% participated in those elections. What about Germany? What is the usual percentage of voters who participate in the election?
Good question. Very good question. Too less. People are lazy. We have approximately between 60 and 70% only. I myself, I'm in favor, but because that is my meaning, that people have to vote, that it is a must, but people can vote, they have not the obligation. There are countries, es gibt Länder, wo eine Wahlpflicht besteht. There are countries where people are obliged by law to go to the election. I think it's better, but however, we have only between 60 and 70%. Unfortunately, it's very, very less. People are not interested because they think, oh, we have a good life. What shall I do? And others, I say, I can't change anything. So the democratic culture should be better. Die demokratische Kultur sollte besser werden.
As far as I know, in the countries where it is obligatory to vote, there is the fine for not visiting the elections. So they pay the fine if they do not.
I think if you are living in a democratic country, we are speaking of democracy, and you have all the benefits of your democracy, you should decide, and you should not say it doesn't interest me. I think it is like my personal opinion, but however, it's a democratic decision, it is a parliamentary decision, and zurzeit haben wir keine Wahlpflicht.
And it is the drawback of your education, not all the children are educated so much, and
but this is a question of education. We are coming now to big revision of our education system. That's a big question. Yeah, I have been teacher, I have been special teacher, I have been headmaster of a school, I have been in parliament, I have so many pedagogical experiences in my life. So I am a liberal person, I'm a democratic liberal, but I am for obligation to vote. This is my opinion. Okay?
Quite reasonable opinion.
Yeah. Good. So what is the chancellor? The chancellor is the most important, the chef of the government. So when the Bundestag, when the parliament is elected, all deputies, they are electing the chancellor for 4 years. And he is the boss, if you want, of the government. So he is, of course, much more important than the president. Der ist viel wichtiger als der Präsident. Er bestimmt, he is giving the directions of the next 4 years of government. You see? Good. Der Bundeskanzler is the most important man, but in the protocol, for instance, if we see a protocol, he is not as high. He is below the president, who is our head of our state, and below the president of the parliament. However, who they are representing, they are not deciding. Okay, these two here, Bundespräsident, the president of the republic, is highest, and the president of the parliament, they are important as representatives. Sie sind Repräsentanten, aber sie entscheiden nicht. So the second chamber, der Bundesrat, is another organ of our constitution, and he is representing the Länders, so the so-called federative. He is a federal legislation. Is a federal organ of our republic. This is the building of the Bundesrat, where they meet. This is the parliament of the Bundesrat, which is of course much smaller. You have seen 68 Mitglieder. Noch einmal, sie sind die Vertreter der 16 Länder. Und der Bundesrat, diese zweite Kammer, is important for the laws, weil alle Gesetze, die im Parlament beschlossen sind, all laws have been decided in parliament, they have to go then to the Bundesrat, to the second chamber, to be discussed, and a lot of these laws have to be decided there. So each law has to pass another control. The control is the Bundesrat. Many laws can only can be operated and can be decided only when the Bundesrat agrees. So this is complicated, but I think this has something to do. Das hat etwas zu tun mit unserer Bundesrepublik, weil die Länder, because the 16 Länder have their own rules and they have to commonly decide. Dies ist sehr wichtig. The highest court of the court of our constitution, they are always observing if our constitution is really observed by all the parties. And this highest law has contributed a lot since the year 1995, that we have really a democratic and a very democratic society. And wenn dieses Bundesverfassungsgericht ein Urteil spricht, if there is a decision, es ist unanfechtbar. Nobody can be against it. Everybody is binding. The Bundesverfassungsgericht is also a little bit political because it may be that the law has been decided. Es kann sein, dass ein Gesetz im Bundestag entschieden worden ist. The law has been decided in the Bundestag, aber it is against the constitution. And that is why the Justice Court can say, go back and discuss once more. There is a big mistake according to our constitution. So the Justice Court is not a political organ, but because the only thing they have to follow is our constitution. Currently, we have 6 parties currently in the Bundestag. I told you, each party, jede Partei muss mindestens 5% haben. CDU, Liberals, Social Democrats, the Greens, the Left, and the Alternative for Nonsense, who are supporting Mr. Putin. How are they financed? The parties get money to make their word from means and from money which are going from our Steuer. I've forgotten the English word for Steuer. Taxes, from our taxes. And this is discussed in Parliament, how they get their money, because they have to do their work, of course. And the most important thing, how the money is distributed to the parties. Also der Maßstab, wie das Geld verteilt wird, hat zu tun mit den Wahlerfolgen. Je mehr Stimmen eine Partei bekommt, the more votes a party receives, of course, it gets more money. Question?
So you have mentioned that the parties exist and operate on the taxes, but you name Putin Mr. He is not Mr. He is a criminal, Putin.
Yeah, correct.
Then the second part of the question, alternative for Germany exists not on the taxes only, but on Putin's money.
Pardon, I didn't got the once more. I didn't understand the question. Can you please repeat it?
It is not a question, it is a remark. So
Yeah.
2 remarks. The alternative for Germany does not exist. Of course, maybe it exists also on the taxes, but it exists on the Russian money, Putin's money. That is why they support him.
You mean the AfD, you mean the extreme right party? Do you mean all parties?
No, I mean alternative for Germany.
Yeah, you're right. However, now they are, I have written here, the parties are financed by money from the state, which is coming from taxes. But in addition, of course, every party can have a lot of money from persons as a support and as a donation. There are a lot of donations which are given to the parties. You can imagine zum Beispiel a rich man who wants to have a conservative direction in the government, he gives a lot of money to the CDU. Others give money to the left side. And there are, of course, es gibt natürlich auch Interessenten, die AfD unterstützen, who support the AfD. You are right. So parties are getting money from the state, but they are also getting a lot of money by donations.
I see. So they use this system. Russians use this system of donations.
Yeah, of course.
So one more question. You have mentioned the Green Party. Who is the most popular politician in that Green Party?
Two of them. I like very much our Minister of Foreign Affairs. It's a she, because she's, in my opinion, the very first one who does not only speak diplomatically and saying nothing, who clearly points out problems of human rights and all this thing when she is traveling around. So I like her very much. The second one, it has momentan a lot of problems. That is our Minister of Economy, Habeck. He is Vice Chancellor. And he has just developed, entwickelt ein Gesetz, wie wir unsere Klimaziele erreichen, how we reach our goals of climate. So he has decided that all people in the future have to change the heatings in the houses. So the most important persons in this party who are ministers is Habeck. He is the Green Minister responsible for economy, and she is Annalena Baerbock. She was several times already in Kiev, and she is the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Annalena Baerbock is great, really.
And I like her. I like her very, very much. She has an open mind, and she is not hiding her mind. She speaks, of course, a little bit diplomatic, but she speaks clear votes. I like her very much. She may be maybe next in the next 3-4 years, when we have the next election, she may be candidate for chancellor. We'll see.
And she is a beautiful woman, just.
Okay, that's another thing.
And
okay,
one more question. Do you believe that the changes in your Bundespresident Steinmeier's views on Russia and Ukrainian-Russian war, so were they sincere, really? Because the changes were cardinal.
I think he changes his mind. Our president, who was in former times Minister of Foreign Affairs, as you know, der war Außenminister, hat gesagt, hat viele Fehler gemacht früher. He has made a lot of mistakes and he has changed his mind. Yes, I think people are allowed to make mistakes. Everybody in our life. But if we see that we made mistakes and we really say sorry, I excuse myself and I beg your pardon, I think we should give everybody the chance to change. Yeah.
So he changed his mind after staying in the shelter in Chernihiv for some time during the air threat, and quite possible that he was sincere. Let's believe him.
Yeah, you can believe him. I very much support him. He is a man who has character. He has really character. He can really say, I made a mistake, and he says it frankly, openly in the public. Good. Now let's end this before we go to history. Our national hymn this is the title of these are the words of our national hymn: Einigkeit und Recht und Freiheit, unity and right and freedom for the German land. Let us all long for this, brotherly with heart and with hand, unity and right and freedom. They are the guarantee of luck, and you shall flourish in this luck, German country. Blüh im Glanze dieses Glückes, and please go on to flourish in the glance of this happiness and of this luck. So this is the text of our national hymn. Questions?
Yes, I have a question. Sorry, in
A
English.
little bit louder, please.
Louder. Okay, I'm trying.
Yeah.
A few weeks or months ago in France was some debate against a law about age for all elder people. They didn't take away rubbish from the street. How do you protect your rights or law against some projects? I don't know.
The project.
Projects. Yes, thank you. Projects. Yes.
Do you? I'm not. I have a question. Do you speak about the people who are sitting on the street and disturbing the traffic because they want to give a sign against our climate change? Either these people.
I mean, people like teachers, nurses, taxi drivers, just common people. What do they do?
If they throw things on the street.
I mean, yes. Yeah.
Well, question of education. We have, unfortunately, a change that people do not, that some people do not protect and watch that our environment, our streets and our parks are clean. They are thinking nobody controls me. We have, of course, a law that our streets and our walls have to be clean, but we have too less people to control. You know what I mean? Is that the right answer, or do you have another question?
No, it's okay. Thank you very much for your answer.
For instance, I myself do not like sprayers who are spraying the walls in the night, and then they say, "Well, we are good artists." Horrible. No, they are unsocial. They do not respect other people, because, for instance, it is it belongs to all of us. The streets belong to all of us. This is public. This is policy. And there are some thinking, it's mine. I do not mind if it is forbidden. It is forbidden, but it is sometimes not easy to grab them.
Okay.
I am against people who are not able to behave.
Oh,
Behavior is respect of the other one. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree with you.
If I respect you and the other students, I respect you, and then I behave in the right way. We can do things commonly, but I have to observe the common rules, and common rules have to be observed. I'm liberal, but I'm also clear that liberal means my surrounding ends there where your surrounding begins.
Okay. Well, that was a great answer, Professor Wolf. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. More questions?
What do the colors of the German flag mean? And you named the lowest part as gold, but for me it is just yellow.
But it's black, red, and gold. That means black is former times our coal, red is love, and gold is happiness. So
Okay.
gold, of course. Have you seen ever a flag real gold? You can't put gold on a flag.
Okay, thank you.
More questions? Otherwise, we continue to history now. Or are you still able to listen or not? Yeah.
I am always able to listen. The students, you decide. Democracy.
Democracy, students decide.
Democratic elections to continue or to stop. And to leave for tomorrow, because we are going to have our lessons till tomorrow. Всі почули? Завтра та ж сама історія. 13 година. Stop. Wolf. Will it be possible for you to do it tomorrow or Thursday? I forgot.
No, okay. You said tomorrow we do not have. We shifted it to Thursday. Thursday same time, and then we can do history, and the final thing would be German festivities.
Okay.
But is the Thursday the last lesson, or is it not the last lesson?
Let it be the last.
Thursday is the last. So
If
on
you
Thursday,
don't
then
mind.
we have two things. We have two things: German history and German festivities. Okay.
Окей. Так, всі почули, не завтра, завтра там лікарські якісь процедури, у четвер, 1 година, те ж саме посилання. You're welcome.
Добре.
Questions so far?
Питання, any questions, якісь питання? Haben Sie die Fragen? No.
Ich höre nicht. Okay.
Тоді подякуйте.
We see each other on Thursday.
Thank you.
Aber am Donnerstag kommt viel Geschichte,
Мгм.
deutsche Geschichte, europäische Geschichte, deutsche Geschichte und deutsche Feste. Okay?
There is a question, Катя.
Ja.
Катя. Де Катя?
Випадково нажала.
Випадково. It was occasional. No questions. Okay. Then thank you so much.
Okay. Degree, you are going to visit. No questions. Okay, then thank you. Okay, good. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice afternoon.
You feel like
And-
it's star. They're clapping you.
And be democratic.
And be safe.
Engage politically. And I cross my fingers for your country. You know, I have Vera, have you read my speech?
Mm-hmm. I appreciated your I appreciated your support. I know about that.
If you want, you can contribute this speech to your student, then they know what I'm thinking. Okay? Bye-bye.
Bye.
you.
Ciao.
Bye bye. Thank
Have
you
a
very
nice
much.
day.
Bye.
Bye.
Auf
Thank you.
Wiedersehen.
Thank you. Goodbye.